What is good, my people? What is good? Welcome back to another video. This is going to be a kind of video that you're going to be seeing a little bit more often. I'm going to try to post daily, but it's like a Barca news roundup. I'm in the U.S. in case you can't tell by now, but I'm in the U.S. And so when I usually get off work, it's 4 or 5 o'clock. It's about 10, 11 o'clock over in Europe. So most of the news by this point is wrapped up. So what I like to do is just to take all the news that can come in from one day, which can, as a Barca fan, you usually know it's a lot. It's a lot of news that can come out in one day. So usually by the time I'm off is usually around the time they really don't break news like that around midnight their time, 1 a.m. or something like that. So usually by the time I'm getting to it, this is all the news that's came out for the day. When I can, I usually try to post instant reactions on my TikTok or something like super big, super crazy. But for the most part, like how today is, it was pretty chill. A lot of the news we kind of already been hearing. So again, this point of this video, and you're going to see a lot more of these, is just kind of just as a community, just come out if you want to share your comments on what you think about the transfers or the specific topics that we're talking about for today. Be my guest. Come by, grab some snacks, get you a drink, kick your feet up. If you at work, turn this up. We just gonna vibe. We just want to just do a little news roundup. And you can be at a lot of different places, but you chose to be here, and I'm appreciative of you being here on my video. So thank you for that. With that being said, getting that out the way, let's get it started. Starting off with this news, I wanted to bookmark this because it looks like here in recent days there's been new contacts between Barcelona and Rashford, between his camp to keep a potential operation alive before looking into other options. He'll see if Barca comes calling. What do y'all think about this? Now that obviously Nico Williams, snaking bastard. But now that we know that Nico Williams won't be joining Barcelona as he signs a 10-year death row-like contract to stay with Atletico Bilbao, what do you think of the option of Rashford? First of all, if you're okay with signing Rashford, would you prefer a loan, or would you mind if he's willing to take a wage cut to just put 30 million, 40 million euros on the table until United take or to leave? Or you just want to test him out, loan deal, and kind of see where it goes after that? If you ask me personally, I prefer a loan. And it's not to say that I don't trust Rashford. The natural ability is there for me. But for me, with Rashford, I think the moment he gets complacent, he kind of dips off a little bit in form. And if you're going to be signing him, you're going to be signing him to a 5-year contract. And I don't know if I want to give Rashford a 5-year contract because we know the first year he's going to be proven, maybe for the first 2 years. Let's say if he has pretty good seasons at Barcelona his first couple of years, he starts to get comfortable. And you can't say that, it's a big club, he would never settle in and become comfortable at Barcelona. But why not? He got comfortable in Manchester United. And we already know Manchester United is one of the bigger clubs in the world. And he's a youth product out of Manchester United. So he knows all about pressure, but, I feel at times it has to be complacency. Just for me on the outside looking in, this is not based on any reports I've read. I haven't talked to anybody, obviously. But just from me looking at it, from the outside looking in, because it's not like Rashford has a long history, list of injuries. He doesn't have that. From my acknowledgement, he doesn't have it. It just seems like he's been falling out with different managers. At times, he doesn't want to train for whatever reason. I think at times he disagrees with managers and their tactics, whatever it is. So, getting back to the point, that's why I think you keep him on a loan deal. Because if you keep him on a loan deal, he's going to be hungry to try to prove for us that we should sign him. So that's only going to be good news for us because it's going to be 1 year long. And he's going to be proven to whoever other suitors is out there looking that, look, it was just Manchester United. I had a pretty good stint at Aston Villa when I went on loan. And I also had a good stint with Barcelona on loan. I would have liked to stay, but it didn't work out. But this is for anybody else interested. I still got it in me. But it's kind of hard for him to show that at United with the current setup. I think his name is Amarin, their head coach. You know, they're not really vibing. So, and I think there's been reports saying that they want him out before they even get preseason started. So they're going to have to figure out something. If you ask me, I say I prefer a loan. I've seen some people out there mention that they would like a cheap transfer if you can get him to reduce his wages, and you can get him pretty cheap. But committing to him for a 5-year contract, I don't know if I'm in that camp. But let me know what y'all think. Let me know what y'all think about that. I want to talk about Szczesny. Obviously, we already knew, but just want to go over this real quick. That his renewal was not only for 1 year, which I thought it was going to be, but it's for 2 years. And some people may think, you know, what's the significance of, you know, Szczesny signing a 2-year extension? You know, whatever. He's not going to be our starting goalkeeper anyway, which is right. But I think that sends a big message to Ter Stegen. I really think it does, because we just signed Joan Garcia a couple weeks ago. It was made official. He signed a document. I don't think it's going to be a problem registering. So he's going to be our goalkeeper for the now and for the future. But with Szczesny, if he would have just signed a 1-year deal and that's it, that to me gives Ter Stegen more confidence that, okay, I can still be higher in the depth chart than Szczesny. And he's only here for 1 year. As soon as he's released, I'm back to being number 2, and the delusional thoughts can continue to kick in for Ter Stegen. But with Szczesny signing a 2-year deal and signing Joan Garcia, I think that's a clear message that Ter Stegen, not only now, but for the next 2 seasons, we have our goalkeeper situation sorted, and it doesn't involve you. World Cup is next year. If you have any shot of starting for Germany, because we've seen how Neuer is looking for Bayern Munich in the Club World Cup. If I'm not mistaken, did he officially retire? Let me know. Did he officially retire from the national team? Because if he did, okay, Ter Stegen, you get that by default. But I tell you what, if you don't play all year because you bullshitting with Barcelona and you're left in the stands all year because we have our goalkeeper situation all sorted, will you still get the start if you don't play at all the whole season? I think Germany's too big of a nation to have their starting goalkeeper going into the World Cup knowing that he didn't play a leg. So to me, I highlighted this because I do think this is very important. This may go under the radar. Obviously, we wrapped up in what we're looking for at the left wing position, but I think this is just another indicator to to Ter Stegen, that this is our move going forward. We're going to go with Joan Garcia and Szczesny as our starting 2 goalkeepers. And then third string, we'll pull somebody from academy if we have to. So that is a clear message to Ter Stegen to get his ass up out of here. So good news in my eyes. Good news in my eyes for sure. I don't have no problems with Szczesny being the backup goalkeeper for the next, not only next season, but for the next 2 years. While we sort out who's going to be our next backup, because Joan Garcia is going to be our goalkeeper moving forward for the foreseeable future, hopefully for at least 10 years plus, right? So just wanted to highlight and talk about that. And this is a name that I'm seeing that's getting brought up. Antonio Nusa. I don't know. You know, I don't know much about him, I'm not going to lie. They say he's like the Norwegian Neymar. Okay. But what do you guys think about this? Should we go for him? Do you think we will go for him? I think because those are two different things. You can be like, yes, I believe we will go for him, but I don't like him. Or you can say, I love him, but I don't think Barcelona's going to go for him. Or you think that, yes, I love him, and I do think we're going to go for him. Me personally, I don't. They're saying that we sent some scouts. We seen a few games of him. But the Rashad page that I showed earlier, I'm sure if you're a Barcelona fan, you're well aware of who I'm talking about. But they said that there hasn't been any serious links with Antonio Nusa. But I'm seeing, a few pages talking about it. And I wanted to bring that up because obviously no Nico. And with Luis Diaz, who we're going to get on a little bit later, his fee, if when Liverpool is not willing to budge on their fee, I don't know if we can afford it, which is good news to me, but more on that later. If they price him out for Barcelona, and let's say up front, Manchester United don't want to do a loan, they want to do a permanent transfer in the beginning, negotiating, right? Let's say those two options don't happen. Now we got to start looking at, all right, what else? Are we going to look within in the academy? Are we going to be looking at alternative options, maybe younger, less proven players? I know Rooney is from the player that we just signed. I cannot say his last name. I won't even try. I don't want to butcher it. But with Rooney, I know he normally plays outright and he can play centrally. So I don't know if that's a natural fit for him. But Antonio Nusa, let me know what you think. I might do a video later on, kind of depending on if the links get a little bit more serious. I'm going to do like a reaction to his highlights. Just kind of just seeing a little bit more about him, looking at his numbers, looking at how he looks, watching highlights, or off the strength of really just looking at his numbers as a whole and see if he will fit. But Antonio Nusa, let me know what you think. Moving on to the next, Luis Diaz, man. Luis Diaz. So they're saying that he has an 82 million euro release clause, which is about 70 million pounds, a little bit over. Stay far away from it, Barcelona. Stay far away from it, Barcelona. One, I don't really believe this story to begin with, if I'm being honest. Premier League clubs, they really don't do release clauses like that. They don't have to. They're not obligated within their league. So where is this coming from? I feel like if this was real, they would have mentioned this as soon as we got linked to him. Because at that point, it's not up to whether Liverpool wants to negotiate. If we feel he's worth this release clause, we'll pay it. And then try to negotiate it down. Something similar to what we were trying to do with Nico last summer, but it didn't, it was total release clause or nothing. So with this, I don't know if I really believe it. But if it is real, I pray that Deco doesn't get any ideas. I'm thinking with Nico having a cheaper release clause and we weren't able to guarantee any registration with him, I don't see how it's feasible for us to be paying Liverpool 82 million and still worry about trying to register, when I still think we may need another position or two in the squad. So Luis Diaz, 82 million. Nah, no thanks. Also, it looks like Bayern Munich has agreed personal terms with Luis Diaz, and this is a pretty reliable source, the CF Bayern. When it comes to Bayern Munich, every time there's something reliable, I usually see that guy's page. So if they're saying that they agree personal terms with him, I believe Bayern Munich has no problem paying what Liverpool is looking for. They bought a winger from Liverpool before. They have the money available. They were willing to reach the release clause for Nico Williams and give him a crazy weekly contract. So I definitely believe they have the dough. But, whether they'll pay what they're looking for, I don't know. I don't know if Liverpool is in a position to really sell. I don't think they have to. With the tragic news with Diego Jota, and his brother passing. Rest in peace to both of them. Sending prayers to the family. It's so sad that what happened to him. But I think with Liverpool, they're definitely not in a position. They weren't in a position to sell prior to Jota's tragic passing, but they're definitely not looking to sell now. They're not in a position to. And if they sell, you're going to have to meet what they want. Bayern can possibly do that, but I don't think we can. So maybe Bayern Munich can save us from this transfer. Maybe, just maybe. On to the next topic. We got here Juventus remains interested in Ronald Araujo. Juventus remains interested in Ronald Araujo. I don't know what to think of this, man. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what to think of this because obviously on the biggest stages in back-to-back years in the Champions League, Ronald Araujo has been a part of some awful mistakes that ultimately led to us getting eliminated. And while I don't think he's an overall bad defender, you're going to get picked out for your negative moments, especially on that stage when we felt we had opportunities to possibly win the Champions League, especially this year. But as far as having him as a rotational piece, you can't lie to yourself and say that he's not a good rotational player. He has a profile that we really don't have anywhere else on his team as far as just pure power and pace with that. Sure, he lacks passing ability. A lot of times teams, when y'all watch Barcelona, I'm sure y'all see it as well. When we in possession, they kind of just let Ronald Araujo, talking about the defense, they kind of just sit back. They don't really need to press him because it's like, okay, don't press him. Just take away all his passing options. Who's he going to pass it to? He's probably going to panic eventually. And there's a lot of times when I see that and I'm like, nah, that's not him. Like, obviously, and it's crazy because he's been in the academy for a while, but it still doesn't look like a natural fit for him under possession. His thing is like to chase down and recover, use his strength. And with the high line that we play, that's a good option to have as just rotation. So me personally, I don't think I would be interested in selling Ronald Araujo. And I know that's an unpopular decision, but I don't think I would. Only way I would consider getting rid of him is if we get something like, and I'm not going to be unrealistic and say like 100 million euros, because that would never happen, obviously. But I think if we can realistically get 50 million euros plus variables, I would love to try to get more, but I'm trying to be realistic, and Barcelona's not a good, when it comes to selling players, we're awful at it. So I'm not going to act like 60 plus 10 or 60 plus 50. No, that's not, I don't think that's happening. So you have to be real with yourself. Would you take 50 million euros and we go look for another option and just go with what we have? Like, go with the center backs we have and then maybe call up an academy player, or take the 40, 50 and try to go get another player. But this is the issue. If you take that money, what player is going to be just as good, at least physically? We know what he is and we know what he's not. So if we get the money for him, 40 to 50 million euros, who can we replace? Who can we purchase that replace what we will be missing if we sell Ronald Araujo? So that's why I say I don't think I would take it. But if you like, yeah, hell yeah, take that. We're taking that all day. If you are like that, just let me know. Who would you take? Who would you sign? Maybe it's somebody out there that fits his profile that I'm just not aware of, and he's not expensive at all. But yeah, I highlighted this because I'm sure a lot of people jumping on this like, yes, sell him immediately. But I'm just thinking like, I don't think I'll do that. I don't think I will. So with that one, moving on. This is the last bit of the news of the day. This is pretty old, but I ain't gonna say pretty old. What was this? Yesterday? Literally yesterday. So it's just yesterday news. But since this is my first time doing a news roundup, this would be my first time talking about it with y'all. But what do you guys think about Rooney being able to travel with us on the Asian tour, playing with the first team? We're probably going to see a lot of them, obviously, because Lamine is not going to be playing a lot this preseason. I don't expect, because we're going to be using him a lot throughout the regular season. So he may feature here and there, or he may not even feature at all during the preseason. I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest. But with Rooney, what do you guys think? I think he's going to do really well. I'm excited. I'm excited to see him. And I think it's going to be a player that the more comfortable he gets with the language, with the play style, with how we train and what's expected, I think he will only get better. But do you guys expect him to take off as soon as we get preseason rolling? Or do you think it's going to be some time for him to adjust? He may not get that many minutes at all. What do you guys think? But yeah, that's all I really wanted to talk about today. News today, honestly, was kind of slow. It was kind of slow. But I'm going to try to do these daily. If I can, I won't go more than 2 days without doing it. But I like doing these. So I'm definitely going to be back tomorrow, anticipating some news. But again, if you want to see more of an instant reaction, make sure y'all follow my TikTok. It's up above. Also on Twitter, I post my instant reactions as well for something that's pretty crazy. But if I have time, I'll try to make a TikTok and respond to it. But just know at the end of the day, you got my news roundup, and it's going to basically be like this. Over time, I'm going to figure out what to add, what to remove, and go on about it. But I appreciate you guys stopping by. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Make sure you like, comment who you want to sign, who would you like going as far as Ronald Rojo, would you like him going? But yeah, just let me know, man. That's all. This is the whole purpose of my channel, man. It's not to be the biggest and the greatest. I really care about that, man. I just like the aspect of meeting with people online, talking about things that I love, and Barcelona has my heart. So just let me know. It could just be something simple. It don't have to be anything grand. But I would really, really, really like to see you guys leave a comment. Just let me know what you guys think about news here recently and the direction that we're going as far as this summer. So I'm pretty sure I said this already, but thanks again for stopping by. And I will be seeing you guys very, very soon. Peace.